Hi there, and welcome to my Stellaris Let's Play, Advanced Strategy, Tips and Tricks. This is episode 9. In this episode, I'm going to look at Neighbour Relations, Aquiring Favours, Border Defences and Starbase placement, and a quick comment on primitives. I hope you enjoy the episode. Here we are, it is now the year 2223. We currently have 5 worlds. We have our capital, which has mostly research labs on it. We have our first colony, which is specialized as a generator world with a single alloy foundry. Our second colony, which at the moment is specialized as a colony that has a reassembled ship shelter. Our third colony, which is specialized as a mining world with a robot assembly plant. And our fourth colony, which is specialized as an agri-world. So, on our western border, we have a new empire, the Molarnok Citizen Confederation. At the moment, they are overwhelming compared to us in fleet power, but definitely inferior on technology and equivalent on economy. Their fleet power is 52. We have 8 ships, making a fleet power of 10. So they have somewhere in the region of 40 ships. That's not too massive a number. We can handle that if things get dicey. But at the moment we are improving relations with them, which will hopefully mean they don't want to attack us. We do, however, have a planet over here, an Arctic world, which we want to colonize. We're going to try and survey this system and move our construction ship across to take it as soon as possible. Something that was mentioned briefly in a comment on the previous video was this primitive world here, and I was asked why I didn't take the primitive world immediately. So there's 2 reasons. The first reason is that it was a little bit of an oversight. So I've recently been playing as fanatic xenophile egalitarians, and so when my xenophile faction popped up, I went, I need to immediately make them happy. I have made them happy, by meaning that I can no longer do anything but passive research on these natives, which has boosted my influence, but they really aren't a massive sect of my population. They're not that massive. So why didn't I take the world? Now, the other reason I didn't is because of the stellar culture shock modifier. Now, there's 8 pops on this world, and no species in my empire has more than a 60% habitability here. At the moment, I have 4 colonies and one prosperous world. If I were to take this world, I would have to employ some of my primary species on the planet to take the ruler and specialist jobs. Actually, at this point, there would only be specialist jobs because I'd have a population of 8. I could move some more in and build an administration building, but still, I would be employing 3 or 4 of my species members, and for the first 10 years, I'd be getting nothing out of this planet due to stellar culture shock. So right now, I don't want to be using my pops to live on a planet that is going to take a long time to develop. I'm going to wait, and possibly in around 10 years, I'm going to change my rights back, and I'm going to invade that planet and take it. So I'm just keeping an eye out here on this construction ship in Feralia, and there's actually 2 of them, and I'm making sure they're not moving towards this system here, because if they do, I need to really make a dash for building an outpost here on Astrikio. So the neighbours have declared us our rival, and they've insulted us. That's going to harm relations. Yeah, that's quite a massive penalty. It's possible we can still get out of this and make them our friends again, but not immediately. It's going to take some time for sure. And now I'm faced with an interesting choice in my society research. I have what seems to be quite an aggressive neighbour. I could take increased food, which would be a nice bonus. I could take an extra 20% society research, which would be definitely a good bonus. But I'm actually going to take the increased naval capacity. That's going to put my naval cap up to 50, which means I'll be able to build a fleet big enough to fight toe-to-toe with my neighbour empire, who has about 40 ships. So that's going to take 50 months. In the meantime, I'm going to also try and increase some alloy production, try and get up to around 20 to 25, and start building up this Starfleet here. And then here in science, I'm going to take the research station output plus 10%. I don't need the fusion reactor on my ships right now, and the improved reactor booster is actually, I'd say, quite a useless technology. You should get the increased power generation from your reactors on your ships. You shouldn't be needing these improved fusion reactors. So I would definitely recommend not taking it. And I found some Holy Guardians. I'm going to tell them they're no match for us. It's always the right response, as I believe. Actually, just to optimize a little bit, I'm going to use the Colonise button here because that means I won't forget about sending my colony ship off. So reasonable world, slightly reduced habitability, but overall fine. Yes, I would definitely like to extend my deal with the curators. Find the resources for it. That extra 10% science is fantastic. As you can see, I'm on a plus 72% physics output on physics, plus 56 on engineering, plus 49 on society. So that's really good. So I've had the bunker bot event spawn. The choices are interesting. So I could, if this was quite a bit earlier in the game and I didn't have quite a stock of influence saved up, I'd probably go with the 200 influence. But at this point, a plus 10% bonus to engineering research for 10 years, I mean, that sounds pretty fantastic. Scrapping it for parts, I'd get some rare crystals, I'd get some volatile motes, and I'd get some alloys, but only 100. That I would gladly trade those resources for a plus 10% bonus to my engineering. And now my western side over here, I'm really going to have to start thinking about how my border defense is going to work, because I've got some interesting choices. So as you can see, my neighbours here, who are definitely quite aggressive towards me, would have the ability to fly this way through Lytirin and Astrikio, and then onto Obnol. Obnol is the only hub point where I can realistically defend. So actually I'm going to build a defensive starbase here on Obnol. And I'm going to hope that I can build enough of a fleet to be able to fight him on Astrikio. But losing one planet, whilst bad, is much better than having my entire empire ransacked in order to defend this planet. So I'm definitely going to build my defensive starbase here. And I'm also going to need to look at how I'm going to get the trade value from this area back to my capital. So at the moment, I have a trade protection range of 1 from this starbase and 1 from the starbase on Gamesia. So that means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got these 7 systems I need to protect. In order to do that, I'm probably going to have to put a starbase here on Padjitaran, or I could put one on Kamea. Because if I change the trade hub over to something like a gun battery, that will give me protection here on Odlam, and then I could build a starbase on Kamea with protection range of 2. That could work. But firstly, I'm going to have to build a starbase here on Obnol. So to do that, I am going to sell some artifacts. I'm going to sell some food. I'm going to sell some minerals, and I'm definitely going to sell some Zro. The reason I've got this Zro is that one of my planets, this planet here, which has the precursor chain ruin spawned, is generating Zro, which is great. So that means I can sell the Zro at quite a high price. So now I'm going to buy quite a few alloys. And now that I have those alloys, I'm going to upgrade my starport here on Obnol. And brilliant, I've got droids. Now, autocannons are good technology. I could really do with some increased hull points on my corvettes, and I really need to increase my armor. But I've got a discount here on super solid materials. I'm going to take this plus 20% to my engineering research. That's going to take 30 or 40 months. I'm hoping not to have a war break out in the next 3 years. I'm about to go from tense relations, upgrade to the middle level, even though I'm rival, and that's because I've been improving my relations with them. And fantastic, I have the mining world here is finally able to be converted to have a planetary administration, which I'm going to do. Even though I do have 1 unemployment, I'm not going to build a further mining district, as that unemployment is going to be covered by the new jobs created by this planetary administration. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to queue up a civilian industries here. Now, at the moment, I'm currently buying in 11 consumer goods each month, and that's only going to rise as I increase the number of specialists and ruler level pops that I have. So, in order to offset that massive loss each month, because that 11 consumer goods is costing me somewhere in the region of 30 energy, I'm going to build a single civilian industries here, which will allow me to employ 2 pops on the planet, and those pops will be producing civilian industry. Those pops will be producing consumer goods, which means that I won't need to have a monthly trade anymore. I will continue having a monthly trade probably, as I'll go back into negative again. And so at this point, I'm definitely going to take the chemical plants technology. The archaeology skill boost would be useful. The auxiliary fire control is all right, it's not fantastic, but chemical plants is going to allow me to unlock the ability to produce volatile motes, and that means I'll be able to unlock the buildings such as the upgraded alloy production building, and other buildings like that, which will help improve my economy dramatically. And by improving my economy, it's going to increase my diplomatic weight. Very soon the galactic community will form, and the Galactic Senate, and I'll start voting, and at the moment my diplomatic weight is lower than some of my neighbours. Roughly equal, but slightly lower. And as you can see, we've been improving relations with our neighbours here for quite a few months. We're now at plus 55. They've been attempting to harm relations with us, but they no longer are rivaling us, and that's because we managed to improve relations to such a sufficient degree, and the new contact opinion has gone down, meaning that they are no longer seeing us in that state, and they've taken us out of the rivalry state, which is taking us a few steps further away from having to go to war. Something I'm going to quickly do just to increase their happiness, and also at this stage I'm going to use the fact that they're not suspicious of me to try and accumulate a few favours. And I'm going to give them something that they absolutely love, which is food. AI empires cannot get enough of food resources. And I'm going to quickly look at what else I've got that I could give them. I could give them a little bit of Zro as well. This is going to give us a slight bonus, a bonus of 13 to our relationship, but I'm also going to accumulate these 3 favours, which I'll be using later on in the game. Favours are actually really important. They'll allow you to pass things in the Galactic Senate to enact the laws that you want to make sure that you have the correct setup there to maximize the output for your empire, and to make sure that you can start later on putting negative modifiers on opposing empires. this is where I'm going to leave this episode. If you've liked it, please leave a like. If you've got any feedback, leave a comment. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.